What became of the likely lad? What became of the dreams we had? Oh, what became of forever love? Oh, what became of forever love? We'll never know.
Hey guys, 17. Happy belated Homebrew Wednesday. It's now Thursday, so I'm a day late. Had a few work commitments and family commitments this week, so it's made a little bit of delay, but hopefully you've been able to watch some of my beer reviews that I've put up over the last couple of days. I know they're not necessarily spectacular, but hopefully they'll give you a sample of the type of beers, commercial beers or craft beers that I would generally look to drink, and give you my very, very honest opinion. And it is purely my opinion. Just because I say I don't like them or it's not a good beer doesn't mean it's not a good beer. It's just purely my opinion. So this week I've had quite a busy week. Finally got back to doing some brewing. So ended up racking off my American Dark Lager, the Black Magic Lager. That's been racked off or putting into a secondary fermenter. It's now lagering away in the fridge, and I got some footage of that just to show you as I was doing that earlier or at the weekend. So that's now being lagered out, and that will sit in the fermenting fridge now for probably around a month to 6 weeks. So I'm just racking off my Black Magic out into my secondary fermenter. I don't normally use another fermenter, but I've got no spare secondary cubes, which is what I normally use. So as you can see, just a slight little spillage there, but just trying to rack that off because it's a lager. I want to sort of get it off the sediment. It had a final gravity of about 1020, which is giving it, I think from memory, about 5.5% or so. So happy with that. So just racking that off, and then that will go back into my fermenting fridge there for another month, and we'll gradually take that temperature down to try and clear it up. But as you find out, if I just try and show you in here, it's nice and dark, but it's not too, doesn't seem too cloudy. I've had a problem of late with my beers being sort of fairly hazy. Some of that's chill haze, but I also think there's a little bit of debris, and also I don't believe I'm cooling the wort down quick enough. So hopefully once I get my wort chiller, that will cure that problem. So just getting that ready just to free up, and then I'll have this fermenter free, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with that later. In the process of doing that freed up my other fermenter, so I've cleaned that, sterilised that. Let's take a look to see what I've done. Hey guys, just thought I'd show you what I'm about to brew this weekend. So as you know from the last video, I wasn't quite sure what to do, so I thought I'd have a little bit experimental. So I just decided to go for an Indian IPA, irrespective of saying that maybe a little bit IPA'd out, but I just thought I'd do it maybe with a little twist. Just thought I'd show you what my intentions are. So let's have a look. So as many of you know, I was a little bit last week unsure what to do, so irrespective of saying I was a little bit IPA'd out, I just decided I'd do a little bit of an experimental brew this week. So it's a Muntons Gold 2-can Indian Pale Ale kit. Never done one of these before. It's approximately 4.5%, but what I intend to do is, look, I'll show you what I'm going to do. So went down to the local, let me just make that right, is the Apiary this afternoon. So that's from Windara Honey. It's actually a Australian bottle brush honey, so that refers to the pollen that's been used. Packed only last week, so you don't get much fresher than this. So I've got a kilo of that I'm going to throw in with the brew, just to instead of I suppose instead of fermenting sugar or brewing sugar or dextrose. So I'm trying to keep it as organic as I possibly can. So I've used this one here, and then once that's brewed out, what I intend to do is I bought these and I'd read it in You Brew It magazine or Brew Australian Homebrew magazine a few weeks or a month or so ago, and then I see the Big Q had purchased some, and I thought, yeah, exactly the same thing. So I thought, oh look, I'll give it a try. So I purchased some. Show it that way. Some French oak chips. I'm not going to use all of these, probably about 50 grams. I'm undecided yet. I'll throw it into the secondary rather than the primary. But I'm undecided whether I do it, make it as a tea and mix that in, or whether I put it in almost like a dry hop with some sterilised chips. So, look, if any of you guys have done anything like this in the past, I'd certainly welcome your tips and advice on the best way and the do's and the don'ts. So, look, feel free to leave comments. But that's basically what I'm going to brew this week. Brewing in my wardrobe, but after less than 12 hours, the fermenter's going crazy. You can see the krausen there, and there's a so it's fermenting away, lovely. There's my secondary. There's me Pete's Wicked Brown Ale and my Cooper's Kent Pale Ale. So that's what's waiting to go in the keg. And here's one that's brewing away to be ready to put in the keg. Okay, as you can see, that's fermenting away quite nicely. It's settled down a little bit now. I've not taken a specific gravity reading. I'll wait until the weekends. I'll let you know how that goes in next week's edition of Homebrew Wednesday. So, what else have I been up to? Apart from drinking a few homebrews, I've been catching up on everybody else's videos, and there's a gentleman over on the central coast of Australia called Jez1308 who is also a brew tuber. Also carries out and does some very good beer reviews. So I've been catching up with some of his reviews of various different brews, and hopefully in his details are down below. Hopefully in the next coming weeks and months, we're going to do a homebrew exchange and test each other's beer and give a bit of constructive feedback. So hopefully I'll be able to show some of that on my channel. Maybe if it's not too hard on me, maybe he'll show some of mine. So try and get the thing that certainly Clements and Lamo and Tony Rapino seem to be doing over in the States. So I'm looking forward to that, to get some constructive criticism from fellow homebrewers. So that's pretty much what I've been doing this week. I just wanted to also comment on Craig Tube's Homebrew Wednesday. Another good one, Craig, as always. And yeah, endorse your views entirely. I would never have, I suppose, got the homebrew bug if I'd gone straight into all grain. Particularly, just the cost alone would have been prohibitive for me to buy the equipment. But I was so naive in terms of what was required, how it would turn out, what equipment I needed apart from the basic kit, what other bits and pieces I needed to buy and still need to buy to perfect my art. So, or not so much my art, at least get me to be able to brew decent beer. I am looking to go all grain in the next few weeks or months, and I've been quite vocal about that. But having said that, as you see this week, you know, I do a lot of partials, but hey, I'm time poor as well at times, and yeah, kit's a good substitution to get a beer down quick. I can get a beer down within an hour, brew it. May not be the best beer, but it certainly isn't the worst beer. Certainly drinkable, with a few hop additions. You can get a decent beer that you'll enjoy. And another reason, as you've seen this week, it's a reasonably cheap way and easy way if you want to experiment with different flavours or different hops. This time I'm going to experiment with the wood chip. We'll see how that goes. I would much sooner do that with a beer kit and play with that with a beer kit rather than try and do it with my own recipe and not really know where it's going. Beer kits certainly have their place. They will still have a place in my brewing, as will partials, as will hopefully in the near future will all grain. So I just wanted to endorse your opinions there, Craig. Hey guys, to all you brewers, whatever you brew, however you brew, Hoppy Homebrew Wednesday. Enjoy the fruits of your labour. Drink beer.
Oh, what became of the likely lad? What became of the dreams we had? Oh, what became